Hi everyone, welcome back to Healthy Cheer with Lo. As you know, I'm Lo. I hope everyone is well during this 2020 pandemic. Hopefully it ends soon and maybe some more people will see this video after the pandemic is over. But today I want to talk about uniform fittings because it is right around that time of year that I know when I was in high school we were doing our uniform fittings post tryouts right around this time. And while they may be postponed this year or be done virtually somehow during this quarantine, it's a scary time, and so I wanted to address it because it's been on my mind and it's something that repeats pretty much every year. So I wanted to talk about it because it was a day that was pretty traumatic for me, and I always dreaded it. I dreaded that day when it came to it every single year, every year. And I want to talk about the tactics that I used. Firstly, of course, I have to say off the bat, I have to sound like a broken record, and I have to tell you, because it's true, that your size, whether that be small, medium, large, or 2, 4, 6, 8, the numbers or the letters, does not determine your value or your worth at all. It is just a number. But of course, those are easier said than done. That's something that intellectually everybody knows, and yet somehow we can't seem to get rid of it because it is so ingrained in us from the advertising, TV shows, whatever. We're taught that the smaller sizes are prettier. It's not true. But I know that's easier said than done. And so another tactic that I used was a reframing. And I would take my sizes and I would write them down on the paper to hand them in, which was obviously scary because you don't want anyone to know what size you are in case they judge you. And I was panicking because I said, this is my clothing size on a paper. Everyone's going to know my clothing size. So what I did was reframe it, and I decided that this is not my clothing size. This is the specifications of my armor because I'm a cheerleading warrior, or whatever sort of metaphor you want to use. I used armor and warrior because, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm Celtic or something, but that was what I used. And so I was able to detach the meaning behind clothing size that we're taught by the media. I was able to detach that from my cheerleading uniform. And so I felt much more confident giving in that paper when it was just a specification for my battle armor. It wasn't my clothing size. And really sitting there and convincing myself of that helped beyond imagine. I cannot advocate enough for this reframing because it is so difficult to tell people your size, and it's so difficult because half of you wants to lie and give a smaller size, and you know you can't do that when it comes to a cheerleading uniform. And I know that a lot of people will use symptoms leading up to a uniform try-on day, and you don't want to do that either because you need to make sure that your uniform is going to fit you always. And the harsh reality of eating disorders is that your weight is very rarely stable, and it is pretty much a roller coaster. You're constantly fluctuating there. And so I really do want to advocate against using symptoms leading up to those days. Just really consider the ways that that can affect your uniform fitting when the end of the season comes around and you may be competing at nationals or worlds or regionals or whatever your team does. And I just encourage you to be mindful about your size. It is not just a size. It is your battle armor or whatever you want to use. So that's what I have to say about that. Please, please, please reach out to me if you have questions, if you just need to talk, or you have concerns, or if you have some other content that you want to see and need advice on. Please reach out on my Instagram, my Facebook, in the comments below. It does not matter. But in the meantime, it's time to make some progress. Remember, we're aiming for progress, not perfection.